I liked the Navy or not, so I hung around for about 20 years just to make sure. No rash decisions. But it was during this time in my service around the world. The first 8 years of my career I spent overseas. The first 4 I spent stationed in the Republic of the Philippines. This was 1984, 85, 86 time frame when President Marcos and the Marcos regime in the Philippines. This is when I really got my eyes opened up to what happens in this world. This is where I first realized that when people do not have a chance to arm themselves and protect themselves from thieves, murderers, their government, and communist guerrillas, I saw firsthand what happens. I was there in 1986 when the People Power Revolution occurred. I saw it unfold before my very eyes. And the look in the people's faces and their eyes, you know, the window to the soul, you can see them screaming for freedom and screaming for liberty. Because what they had to contend with was a Marcos regime that, among other things, had Sparrow units, what they were called. Sparrow units were groups of 4 or 5 police officers, and every night they would be given a list of criminals or political dissidents, whatever. And their job was to go out that night and shoot and kill those people, and then line them up along the road in the morning for the people to see. And if it wasn't the national police or the military rape, pillaging, and plundering the poor people, when the sun would go down at night and the government soldiers went back to barracks, then the communist guerrillas came out of the jungle, and the communist guerrillas would rape, pillage, and plunder. The people had no protection. I am going to make sure that never happens in America, and that never happens in Iowa. There was another life-changing event for me. In 1989, I was privileged to be on one of 3 U.S. Navy warships, and we made a port visit to Shanghai, China. The first U.S. Navy warships to visit China since they had went communist in the 40s. If you remember what happened in June of that year, June of 1989, you'll understand when I talk about in May of 89, because we saw the people take to the streets, the Chinese people. We almost canceled our port visit because they were afraid that we would be in danger. We quickly realized that wasn't the problem, because the people were demonstrating and marching by the millions. By the millions. They were marching for freedom and for liberty. They were carrying papier-mâché replicas of the Statue of Liberty. The Chinese government didn't crack down on them, not when they had 3 U.S. Navy warships in port. So after we left, you'll remember Tiananmen Square. And you'll remember that there was one brave student, his only self-defense was to stand at attention in front of a tank. And that he did. That takes guts. Ladies and gentlemen, we hear about our unalienable rights. And I ask people, do you think they have unalienable rights in China or in North Korea or in Iran? And I hear no. Ladies and gentlemen, they do have unalienable rights. They just don't have a government that keeps them secure in their unalienable rights. And we have a government that's trying to do the same thing right here, right now. An attack on one part of our Bill of Rights is an attack on the entire Bill of Rights. What is the history of the Second Amendment? And we like to think, you know, why did the founders feel so strongly about the Second Amendment and the right to keep and bear arms? And of course, the obvious answer is the redcoats,